Hi. Hey.
Oh, they're here. You're all here. Oh, goodness.
I don't have my chat up yet. I'm getting there. Give me a minute. Hi, guys.
Hi, everyone. I'm just going to go to you, and I'll watch it from there, and we'll mute that. Okay.
Okay.
Oh.
Hi, guys. Oh,
hi, everyone. Wow, that's a lag and a half.
That is a lag. Oh, funny.
Oh, my God.
All right. Hey. Wow, there's a lot of people here already. Hi, everyone.
Wow. Okay.
Just got done watching another favorite reader, Divinely Feminine, and she's plug. She complained of the same itchy nose thing. Yeah. It's man, that channeling will get you.
Sure does.
Every time.
That's when I know that I'm channeling hard because my nose starts to go nuts.
Welcome. We're going to talk about twin flames tonight.
Oh boy.
Eric is drinking his wine and doing his nails, so get comfortable because this is going to be like super chill, super fun. And we just decided like 2 minutes ago that we're going to pull cards at the end. So yeah. Do I have any? Oh, good. I do have Yin the Little. I love that. Yin the Little Cleo. I just want to make sure I have moderators in here.
I don't know how to get back to the actual like video. I mean, I guess I don't have to look at you.
Oh, there's Ryan. I told you.
Hi, Ryan.
He's been having nose issues too, but he's in Vegas where it's nice and warm. So
yeah.
Alexander, you don't see us.
Uh-oh.
Hi, David.
Hi, David.
Julie's here. Good. There are moderators. I was worried about that.
Oh, fun.
Well, so what it does is it goes back and forth when we're talking. So if it's not going back and forth, can you hear me? Can you see me when I'm talking?
They can hear you, but they can't see you.
Oh. Well, for Pete's sake. There we go. Can you see me now?
So if Betsy, if you want them to see you, you just have to talk more because it switches.
Okay, so can you guys see me when I talk? Oh, good. All right. Can you see Eric when he talks? I know, like all this technology BS, I don't even know. Like it took forever.
We were discussing it earlier, guys, and we were all like, there has to be a better way to like share a live stream like this, but you
can't see him when he talks now. That's fantastic. Great.
Fabulous.
You can see both. I'm so confused.
I don't think it switches fast enough. I think there's a lag in between the stream on YouTube and what like you and I are seeing at least. But I don't know.
I know. I think there should be an option to split the screen too, but
I agree.
It's weird. It's like, sorry, while we try to figure this out. And if people are really, really annoyed by this when they're rewatching it.
Oh yeah, that's a thing. I really don't think there's much we can do about it, to be honest. TBQH.
There's some kind of setting that needs so it can switch back and forth. I'm not entirely sure what.
Oh.
Hold on. I'll figure it out. Maybe. Maybe. Thanks for being patient, guys.
Yeah, thanks. We appreciate it.
Oh. Okay. No, it should be showing both.
Don't mind me, just doing my manicure over here. Aw.
Okay, wait. Maybe that worked.
Maybe.
No. Okay, Eric, I want you to talk now and see if it works.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna chat for a little bit while Betsy tries to figure this out for us. But hi guys, I am in the middle. Oh God, Eric, that was not a good idea. I'm in the middle of redoing my nails because we're having a little chat and we're gonna talk to my friends. I'm also having a glass of wine, so cheers to you all. Thank you for joining us. And
it is working. Oh, yay. Okay, good.
Is it working? Yep.
All right. Yay. We figured it out.
Awesome.
I'm smarter than I look sometimes.
God. You're not just a pretty face, Betsy.
You know what? You don't know how much I had to prove that in my life.
That's so unfortunate.
I know, it really is bad. Okay. It's snowing. You know what? It just started snowing here, too.
I would love it if we would get some snow around here, but we just keep getting rain. And
oh, for Pete's sake. Now they're not seeing you again. I don't even know what this is doing anymore.
It's okay. Oh, can you guys hear me filing my nails? I'm literally giving myself a manicure right now.
All right. I don't know what's going on, but okay. Let's start the talk.
Woo!
Let's start talking about things. What I wanted to start with is like the big misconceptions on what twin flames are and what twin flames are not.
Mm-hmm. You guys don't understand. Betsy is a badass Virgo, and she has like this whole outline of the conversation, and she sent it to me earlier, and I was like, girl, you better write all that shit down.
I did. I wrote a list. Yeah, I think it's the lag with Eric, and it's going to switch back and forth.
Yeah.
And if we do that mute thing where we're muting the mic back and forth, that's just going to get really confusing. So, okay, so it is going to switch back and forth. It's not going to be both of us together.
Yeah.
Just so everybody understands that, like when I'm talking, you'll be able to hear me. Yeah, Cal, of course I wrote a list. You know me. It's gotta, and it is lagging. I don't know why it's all right. We're fine. We're good.
It'll be okay.
So one of the biggest things I want to talk about with the whole twin flame thing, because, and I got real frustrated yesterday, which sucks because I hate when I get frustrated about like people having these huge misconceptions on, someone messaged Google split screen. These huge misconceptions about what it means to be a twin flame.
Yeah.
First of all, not everybody's going to have one. And it doesn't mean that it's an elitist group. It doesn't mean that, hi, Kara. It doesn't mean that we're better than anybody else. Nope. Everybody, you know, if you're an awakened soul and you're on the soulmate journey, you're just as important. The difference with the twin flame journey, and it's really difficult. Like, it's not easy. It's, oh, hi, Erica. Erica Hippie is here.
Hey, Erica. Oh, yay. Thank you for joining us.
She was on my Instagram and said she was hoping to make it. I'm so glad she made it.
Excellent.
It's not like that we're like saying in fact, I tell people, I'm like, you know, it's such a hard journey that I wouldn't really wish it on anybody.
I would not wish it on my worst enemies, guys.
You have to be really, really, really like super committed to the journey and committed to the mission. And it's not about who's better than who. It really is actually bringing love back into humanity. So the ego isn't even involved. It's so tough to be a twin flame. And the experience of like meeting your twin. So there are certain signs when you, and I know the difference in a huge way now. The difference between a karmic twin is what I call it. I don't even call it a false twin because I feel like I had to be in a relationship, or not even a relationship, but in a connection with somebody to like get to the root of all of my wounds, to get to the root. How do you know the journey has begun? We'll get there, Carolyn. To get to the root of all of the wounds that I had to heal. And they were even ancestral wounds, like family wounds. Like I was talking to my mom last night, and I was like, Mom, this summer, I swear I healed some ancestral wounds that like my children, their children's children are going, like, they don't have to deal with so much family shit now because of what I went through this summer. And we'll talk about how you know you're a twin flame too, Susan. I'll get to all of it. So, when you start off, the way that I found out that I was a twin flame is I actually connected with my karmic twin. And when I connected with him, I didn't know it was my karmic twin. I didn't even know what twin flames were. I thought, I was like, it felt, the connection felt stronger than just a soulmate thing. And that's how that misconception starts, because you have a connection with somebody that's so incredibly strong and so close, like literally 99% in the same energetic field is you, like the same energetic connection is you as what your own body is giving off. And that 1% is huge. The 1% that karmic twin does not have is huge. So what you have to really remember when you're on this journey, that if you connect with somebody, and what happened to me is he was my catalyst to my spiritual awakening. And by being, and when I say he was my catalyst, like when we connected physically, like, or not really physically, but like when we were in each other's like physical space, and then we had to part, there was always this contention where our energy was combined, but there was always something that was like pushing us away from each other. There was like this magnet, but then it would flip, and then, you know how like the magnets, like the opposite sides of each other, they would detract from each other. And that was the red flag that I didn't see, is I just focused on how connected we were, and that 1% where the magnet was detracting. And I mean, there were times like we would be really super anxious around each other. We would be really super, like, it wouldn't be comfortable. It would be a very uncomfortable situation. It would be, and like some moments were very comfortable. So, but I didn't see the red flags of it.
Every time I was around this, I guess you could say my catalyst, I mean, I would freeze up. I would get incredibly nervous. I would start shaking. And you know, I've had crushes on people before, but it never felt anything like what it was whenever we were in like the same vicinity.
Right.
It was scary.
Right. Joan, I could feel him energetically. That's the thing, is we had the telepathy, we had the energetic combination. We had the, there were like every single sign pointed to it, every single sign. And it was really triggering. And like, he literally brought up all of my old abandonment and rejection wounds. There is an end game. Adventures Amalia, there is an end game. I actually know twin flames that have like, that are in union now. So that's kind of like, for the biggest part of this is me, like, I had to recognize, Joan, I knew that was going to come up with somebody. There's going to be like, yeah, like now I have questions. And I always questioned it. I always questioned it. When we like the first time that he and I parted from each other, like in a physical way, I literally felt like a piece of me was dying. Like my heart was broken in 100 million pieces. I had to drive 3 hours to get back home, and I would have to stop on the side of the road and throw up. Like, it was so incredibly painful, like so painful. Most painful thing I've ever been through in my life. And I've been through a lot of shit in my life. So, but the red flags of it are when, like, I always questioned it. I never felt comfortable within it. I never felt safe within it. I never felt like he was going to be there for me. I never felt like there was this, like, even if, you know, because he was my best friend for 2 years. Like, we were always in connection with each other. And it's not that he didn't try. And it's not that he was like purposefully disrespectful to me in any way. There were points like towards the end where he was purposefully disrespectful. And that's when I was like, oh, I get it. The thing is with a karmic twin, when you have that, your alignment starts to go like this. Like, you guys start to come out of alignment with each other. When you have found your true twin flame, there's no unalignment. Like, and his alignment and my alignment would do that all the time. And then we'd come back to each other. And this is where people get to that thing where they're like, but I'm always thinking about him, but he's always like in my mind, but he's always in my dreams, but he's always, because they'll come back into alignment and then they'll part again, and they'll come back into alignment and then they'll part again. Like, that's what I noticed, where there was like this huge difference between like where the alignment was and where it wasn't. Now, when you, it doesn't have to be a physical connection, especially like right away. When you come out of alignment, it means that you guys aren't on the same path. Alignment means like when you feel like you aren't, true twins do realign. True twins aren't ever really out of alignment, actually. Bye, Cal. Unfortunately, work abounds. I can't believe you're still at work. It's 5 o'clock. You're still in alignment even if they pass away. It's an energy. It's a soul connection. Twin flame, this soulmate thing is different. I mean, yes, you can call it a twin flame, or yes, you can call it a soulmate, because they're still part of your soul family, if you will. But twin flames is like literally you guys decided as one soul to split into 2 humans. That's the whole thing of a twin flame. You originally started as one soul. You started as one energy. That's why you are always like, that's why the connection never really falls apart. What seems out of alignment? The runner chaser dynamic. And that's another misconception thing. It doesn't, you don't have to have the runner chaser dynamic. You don't have to go into separation. I actually read something, getting ahead of myself, but I read something on Instagram where twins aren't actually supposed to be in separation. Like, twin flames aren't actually supposed to be in separation. When the reason why that happens is because you become out of alignment. You start to bring up fears within yourself. You start to bring up, like, you do the what ifs, the how comes, the whys, the wins, and like all of that feeling of not being good enough yourself. That's what creates the separation. Because when you're not whole and in alignment yourself, and when we say, and Eric preaches this all the time, when you're, and being in alignment is having your divine masculine and divine feminine energies in alignment. Yes, most people are going to go to one side, whether they're a divine feminine energy or a divine masculine energy. But as a whole, as a general, and not being really super specific, if you can think on the emotional, intuitive side and the logical and 3D side, and have your chakras are in alignment, and this doesn't have to be like 100% of the time, but that's why healers are constantly working on their energy. That's why a lot of healers are Reiki masters, because they're able to put themselves back into alignment. That's why a lot of twin flames are Reiki masters. That's why a lot of people do those kinds of things, because when you come back into alignment with yourself and you are in alignment with the collective as well, that's how stop the runner chaser thing that goes on. Now, when there is a runner chase, yes, right, Erica? And I was actually thinking of you when I said that, when you're being like a Reiki master, because I'm a Reiki master, and I feel like I needed to get there because, and I was actually even saying today that I feel enlightened. I am like at so much peace and so much calm within my, it doesn't mean that I'm happy all the time. It doesn't mean that my life is like tra-la-la, rainbows and butterflies and lollipops and like everything's fantastic. But being a spiritual person doesn't mean you're just like Little Miss Lollipop. No, that's not. It's what it means is being in alignment and you being okay with all of the things that happen in your life, and you know that you have a purpose, and you know you have a mission, and you know you have a plan. And even when things aren't lining up in the way that you wanted them to, you know there's a bigger reason. You know that there's a purpose behind it.
And usually that resistance that comes in when things aren't aligning the way you, quote, want them to, that has a lot to do with your ego and not your spiritual awareness or self-awareness.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that.
You're welcome.
Right. Yes. Erica is so correct. You go through the ebbs and flows of life because we're all still 3D. We are all humans. We're all spiritual beings living a human experience. Right. And that's what you have to remember, that this is, you know, what we're doing in the 3D world. We have a mission. We have a purpose. There's a reason why we all became humans at this time in our lives, but it's not, you're able to pick yourself back up. Like there were times when I was in the throes of being in this connection with this other person, and it was like, he would bring me down, like his negative vibe would bring me down. And it was like, could I just not do this? Like, I didn't want to do it anymore. I didn't want to be a twin flame. I didn't want to be in the experience. I mean, that was one of the biggest reasons why I stopped doing twin flame readings, because like on YouTube, I was still doing my personal readings, but it was very, very hard. Like his alignment affected me in such a negative way that I kept saying, this cannot be a divine union. If you have to say to yourself, this cannot be a divine union, there is really no love in this. There's really no, like, no, both do not have to be masters. Usually one is a little bit more enlightened and spiritual when they meet. And then the other one kind of like, it's almost like a student teacher thing that happens. And then it kind of flows, like you guys flow together. It's very interesting. So yeah, that, I don't know, Eric, do you want to add something to that?
Yes. I guess I'll speak from my perspective. It was because someone did ask me this a while ago. I think it was during one of the twin flame readings that I was doing, and it was a live reading. And someone asked me, you know, what the difference was. Like, how do you know if this is your twin flame? And I've been thinking about it a lot, and I kind of want to say, first and foremost, this is someone that's really going to push you onto a path of like some serious self-awareness. Now, and also something that I wanted to point out earlier in the chat tonight was that you're going to, regardless of whether someone is your twin flame or not, you're going to run into people in life that will push you in a direction to learn to get to know yourself better. But one of the biggest distinctions I've found, at least personally speaking from my experience, this one person really like pushed me extra far. And he really helped to put me on a path where I really wasn't screwing around. Like I wanted to get to the bottom of this. I wanted to understand why I was being triggered so much. I wanted to know why, or I wanted to heal all of the codependency issues, the extreme jealousy I was feeling. And yeah, I mean, I can have my own personally, I can have some jealous streaks anyway, but it was nothing like this ever before. And that really led me towards being who I am truthfully and honestly. I finally got to the point where I was breaking a lot of the karmic cycles, I guess you could say, that I thought were normal, that I thought were okay. And once I stepped out of that and started to really stand in my power, I was like, oh no, this really is not normal. And actually, I don't want to have this kind of toxic relationship with anybody. I don't care who you are. And so if you can, and what I also, when I was thinking about it earlier today, what I really wanted to say to everybody was, it really doesn't matter if someone is your twin flame or not, because ultimately what really truly matters is that you come into a union within yourself so that the universe actually can start to bring you what it is you truly want. And one of the reasons why I don't proclaim to be able to clarify whether someone is your twin flame or not is because, quite frankly, that is for you to decide. That is for you to come to terms with. Because ultimately, even if you are going to be with this person, you're still going to have to do your own work to get there. And I know for me speaking personally, once I got to a certain level, or at least once I crossed a certain threshold, I was not even interested in it anymore. Of course, I was still getting a bunch of the synchronicities. And like I text Betsy, I sent Betsy a few pictures at one point, maybe just like a month ago, that was like, why is this still happening? This is absolutely crazy. Like there were these synchronicities that were coming out of nowhere. But
I remember, Eric, like when that happened, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I wanted to jump in. Leave it to the Virgo to interrupt the conversation. I remember like right after that happened, it was like maybe a day or two later that there was some,
sorry,
healing moment that you had to have. There was some kind of like big, I don't remember exactly what it was, and it's personal anyway, so I wouldn't even say it, but I remember that there was something that came up out of that. Like it kept, whenever you get triggered by synchronicities, or you see his name, or you see numbers, or you see something that reminds you of him in some way, it's like there's a healing moment that happens right after that where you're like laid out for a day.
Yes, and I started to realize that the main reason why these synchronicities and these triggers were still happening was because I still hadn't fully healed the situation surrounding it. Like it, and this is something that I used to say a while ago, and it was kind of like, Eric, well, you need to like practice what you preach. But it was learning to come to a point where seeing his name now, Brandon, he has a very, very common name, okay, just like I do. But seeing his name or seeing some sort of synchronicity that would remind me of him, I needed to just be like, oh, look, there's that. Okay. And ideally, it's getting to the point where you don't even really necessarily think about that person anymore, just because it doesn't affect you like that any longer.
Bookmarked Page asked, when people keep using the term triggered about twin flames, what does that mean? Because to me, it's a PTS or trauma thing. Thank you, Sarah. The triggering is they're like mirroring a wound of yours. Hi, Patrick. I didn't even see that you were in here. What's up? Patrick is a faithful Instagram follower too.
Yay.
And a fellow Virgo of mine. So I'm like, hey, part of my soul family. The triggers are like wounds that are brought up within you. They like mirror something in some way, or they do something where, like for me, my biggest wound that I needed to heal was the rejection and abandonment, or not feeling good enough.
Same.
They piss you off. They piss you off so that you can, that's what Steven just said, they piss you off. Basically, yeah. But the thing is it's different because we're talking right now, Steven, we're kind of talking about the karmic, how the karmic will piss you off. There's a difference between when the karmic false, if you will, I don't like that term, but whatever. The karmic pisses you off versus the true one pisses you off. Because when the true one pisses you off, you recognize what it is. When the karmic pisses you off, it's like no holds barred. You lose your shit. You have to like really, really like painfully, when you are aware and you see it and you're like, oh, damn, that really like hit me. That triggered me. And you recognize what it is that's happening. That's how you know that you're in alignment with the right person, because you're realizing what they're doing. Yeah. And it's not like they're not, because like when you're with a karmic soulmate or a karmic twin flame or whatever, like you get in those fights, those arguments, those whatever, or they trigger you in some way, and you're just pissed and you're angry and you're bitter and you're just like whatever. But it can be similar to PTSD and trauma. But I'm like fully, and I know that this is not a very popular way to think about this, but I'm fully 112%. If you think that you're in a twin flame journey and that person does not show you any type of love, like literally they're not showing you any love at all. There's no balance of love there whatsoever that's happening, or ever what, like if it's just not, and you're just kind of like, oh man, we're just really strongly connected. And at one point I thought that this was going to be like my forever person, and you cling on to that. Because I know a lot of people like hang on to narcissistic relationships. I don't care if you think they're your twin flame. Like, no, it's just like, no, you still love the person even when they trigger you. That's 100% true. And I got to the point to where, and it's not even just like, oh yeah, man, I can love this person regardless, because I can love everybody when they trigger me now. I'm like, sure, bring on the triggers, like project all you want. I will still love you.
Same.
It's not that. It's about, you know, that they're showing you a piece of you. They are mirroring a piece of you. And it's basically like they're loving the wound that comes up. Like, it's not something that is, it's so hard to explain. I'm really glad that everybody else is here helping me explain it, because it's really hard to explain it. Because I know the difference. I felt the difference. Yeah. Like, I know it now and feel the difference, but it's not something that's like, it's hard. It's hard to figure out that you're with a karmic twin. It's hard to figure out that you're with a true twin. One of the biggest things, and Steven actually did a video on this, and I didn't get to watch the whole thing, Steven, sorry, but I do remember the very beginning of it. And the very first thing that he said was the energetic alignment. When you, like, knowing your true twin flame, literally all of your chakras align. Like, they open on both sides, not just on one. And it can happen through an energetic exchange. It can happen through a phone conversation. It can happen through text. I mean, like, because energy is fluid, it can happen really with anything. And it's not just like, Steven, how do you put it? I don't want to say it wrong. And I actually don't want to say it at all, because the way you put it, it's like kind of crude. He says something about like making something tingle or something. Like, it's not about the tingle effect. It's not about like the sexual chemistry. It's about when the Kundalini awakens and all of your chakras come into alignment. And that doesn't mean they stay in alignment. None of us, like, I mean, I'm a healer. Eric is a healer. Steven's a healer. Even Eric, even though he hasn't been through it, he's a healer too. Yeah. That's what it is. Everybody read what Steven just said, because I'm not going to say it out loud. Maybe Eric will say it out loud. Oh. Everyone with an antenna.
That's fantastic, Steven. I love it.
Oh, damn. That's so funny. And true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that you're twin if you just your root chakra tingles. Like, it has to be like the whole.
Everything.
And it's not even it's like your sacral chakra. It's not even the root. Because really, the Kundalini is like right near your root chakra. So I know, he's really funny. What were the other things on the list? I know there was more. I got to find your text that I sent you. Sorry. Talking to yourselves.
There was something I wanted to say, but now I don't quite remember. Well, okay. For me, it's been super, super confusing, because this one person, I had met him 2 years before this actually like exploded in my face. And I actually was hearing about him.
Bear, he's at Divine Conversations on Instagram. Sorry, yeah. Eric.
At Divine_Conversations. And right before it even exploded, Spirit was like mentioning him to me. And I was like, I don't even know who you're talking about, guys. Like, I went through all of the people in my immediate life that I could think of that shared that same name, and none of it lined up. I had a conversation. One night I was laying in bed and I was having a conversation with Spirit, just asking them questions. And they started telling me about this person, and he even answered. And then all of a sudden everything aligned, and I guess the awareness of the connection exploded. And even to this day, I can't tell you, I honestly can't say what it all means, other than it was a catalyst. That's what Spirit just said. It doesn't matter what it means, other than the fact that it puts you in the position that you needed to be in ultimately. And that's, I think that's what really matters here, is you being in greater alignment with yourself, you being on a path that, you were meant to walk here. And if I hadn't gone through this experience over the last, I want to say, year and a half at this point, I would still be living the same cycles that I was living before I left my ex-husband, basically. And I started to see the connection between the relationship I had with my ex-husband and the relationship with other people in that immediate area that I considered friends. It was all just toxicity. It was all just a shit ton of narcissism. And I finally had to completely cut that out and say no more, regardless of whether or not Spirit is saying, you're a twin flame, he's your twin flame. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because ultimately it was an abusive it was an abusive situation that we all were in, to be honest. Not just me being the vulnerable empath, I guess you could say, but all the other people that are still in that situation, we'll call it, are in abusive relationships with each other. And I, being the one that I am, I'm like, look, y'all wake up. And they didn't want to hear it. So I just had to move on.
Yeah. Totally 100% agree that you, like, the whole point of this journey of being on the twin flame journey is to get into alignment with yourself, because ultimately, individually, and I mean, yes, the being in union is the very last step of this. Like, you have to, you're having a message yourself, and sorry, distraction. You have a mission yourself, and you have a mission with your twin flame. I want to point out something that Erica said. She said, if they make you want to be a better person, and this is even if you're in separation, even if you're in separation with your twin flame, you know it's not a karmic. If they make you want to be a better person, to grow to be your best self, and a lot of healing, it's a true twin flame. A karmic, if you're with a karmic, you go backwards or you stay the same. And I recognized where I was starting to go backwards with my karmic. I recognized that I would be pulled back into the dark. I would be pulled back out of alignment. I would be pulled back into an extremely negative space. And I didn't want to grow. I was like, screw this. Like, I don't even want to do it anymore. I don't even want to. And that's where I recognized that when I finally pulled back from his energy, and I had to do it. I was the one, because he never would have. He never would have. He would have kept me in his life and kind of just like kept me dangling there had I not. If I wouldn't have pulled back, if I wouldn't have blocked him, if I wouldn't have said, I'm standing up for myself and I'm standing up for my own energy, and because I was starting to recognize how negative it was for me, when I did that for myself, it was like this huge explosion of blessings happened. Like, you wouldn't came back. I mean, it took a good probably month, maybe month and a half before I was starting to feel normal again. But like, I know, like, for example, I remember when Erica kind of went on hiatus with readings and stuff.
I remember that too.
Yeah. And we have to pull ourselves back into an aligned center, because we know that if we're not on our growth, on our growth, like, we're no good to anybody. And so we know that it's our, that you're with the right twin. I don't even know how to say that. You're with the right twin if they're not stopping you from living your purpose. Whether you're in separation or you're in communication or whatever, if you're still pushing forward on your mission, if you're still pushing forward in the healing, if you're still pushing forward on all of that soul purpose, really, and you're healing yourself and you're focusing on yourself, then you know that you are aligned with the right person.
Mm-hmm.
And that's whether you're in separation or not. The separation time shouldn't be negative. And that brings me to another topic, victim mentality.
Ooh, ciao.
Victim mentality. There's been a phase going on where divine masculine bashing has become a thing.
Ugh.
And I am 112% not okay with it. Because I know that the divine, I can feel, and I know Erica agrees with me, and I know Steven agrees with me, and I know Eric agrees with me.
Yeah.
I can feel the divine masculine rising too. We talk about divine feminine rising and how great it is that women are coming into their power and all of this. But when we break down the divine masculine and we say all the bad things and we say how toxic they are and how narcissistic they are and how horrible of people they are and this and this and this and this, and we're not building them up, that is such negative. You're never going to get into alignment. You're never going to come into union if you're bashing your divine masculine. Absolutely. If you're going somewhere and you're spilling it, it's not even. So Ryan decides to speak up when he's like, enough of the fucking male bashing. But that's not even, it's like not even just with men, because some women can have their divine masculine, like heavier divine masculine within them. And the men can be more of the divine feminine. It's not even about the gender anymore. But there is a huge thing about male bashing. Like, I know that there are men out there. Bashing your masculine is bashing yourself. If you are in separation from your masculine and you don't like the journey that he's taking and you don't like the free will choices that he's making in life, now remember that they're not your choices, they're his choices to make in life. And he has just as much free will as you do. You don't have to sit in that. You don't have to sit in that victim mentality and say, this is what he did to me, this is what he did to me, this is what he did to me, or this is what she did to me, this is what because, even women can be that. But there's no need for it. And you're not going to be in alignment, and you're not going to be able to be in a union at all if that kind of anger, bitterness, resentment is sitting within you. That is a wound that needs to be healed.
To that point, Betsy, when I was going through that situation, it really like, yes, I was experiencing certain things on my own that I couldn't necessarily explain to other people, because it's not like the people that I had around me at that time were that aware to have that kind of experience themselves. But I started to notice that if given a different situation, there would have been a lot of situations in which I would have acted in a similar way. Now, I'm not the type of person to want to hurt someone, to purposefully take advantage of them when I know they're in a somewhat of a vulnerable state or anything. But I had to sit back and realize, it's like, Eric, how would your actions really be all that different given you were in that situation? It's like, whoa. So that's when I fully started to realize that the reason why I was getting so upset about certain things that were happening is because that existed within me too. And I had to turn around and be like, okay, this is why triggers are so damn good, because now you have a realization as to what is helping you heal and grow.
Right.
Which is rough.
Erica,
I also want to say that I've been going through a period where it's like, I don't know if I want to do twin flame readings either, but I still want to be of help to people, so I do it. But I totally get, I totally get that.
Erica 333, I kind of wanted to say there's a big misconception when you say the masculine is the one that's not ready to commit. That's totally not true. Mm-hmm. Because if you do come into alignment within yourself and you meet the masculine side of your feminine side in the 3D, some of them are ready to commit. That's what I mean by the divine masculine are rising as well. It's not about whether they're ready to commit or not. It's about whether you're in alignment and they're in alignment.
And I say this, I've been saying this for a while now, but the divine feminine, or those in the divine feminine camp, most likely have gone through a lot of awakening. I guess you could say ahead, because Spirit just said it this way, ahead of schedule, but it's not even like it's ahead of schedule. You don't even really need to say it's first. There's just, they have a different, there is a different perspective between the masculine and the feminine energies. And that's why it's so important for you to work on balancing that. But at this moment in time, especially for those of us that Betsy and I and other readers that are on the same page have been connecting with, we've been going through a lot of that spiritual awakening already. It had been an ongoing process. I know for me personally, I had always been on that kind of path, and not everybody's like that, but you know, it's been an extended amount of time to build this sort of awareness. And so now it's kind of the masculine energy's turn, because they are the ones within, at least this is from my perspective, this is how I see it from the outside looking in. Like if you were to step out of the situation and look at it, the masculine energies are the ones that are really have been in human history up until now, have, at least for the past few centuries, have been building this narcissistic momentum. And when we come into this world, this is what we teach young boys on a large scale. And as a result, through osmosis, you can say, the women that are more of a feminine, or I'm sorry, more of a masculine energy start to learn this as well. And it's like we have to reverse the train, and the feminine energies can only do so much. The masculine energies have to be the ones in the depths making those changes. And you have to understand that these changes are not going to happen overnight. And it's not like you can really be in their life necessarily to make those changes. They have to be the ones to make them changes for themselves.
Right. And some of them are really, and some of them are doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's one of the biggest things that I've noticed. And that's why the whole masculine bashing thing, like, needs to go by the wayside, because, and also, you know, there are different waves of twin flames. And, like, I know that there's no way for you to convince somebody else that that they're your twin.
Right.
But if you are, because like for me, I didn't really even want to say anything because of all of the negative connotation behind it, because of all the negative, like, horrible things that have been said about the whole twin flame experience. That was my fear, that I was like, oh my gosh, I can't even, like, I don't even want to go there. And then it just kind of organically happened, where the conversation, so, you know, and so you can't, and the only reason why I'm saying that is because Erica 333 again, she said, I tried to tell my twin flame that they were my twin. And it's like, sometimes that is the, no, and I'm not saying that you're bashing anybody, Erica. I'm just saying that it's, you can't force it. You can't force that on somebody. Like, you have to let them see it.
They have to realize it for themselves. And when I was going through my situation, Spirit was saying it to me, and they were actually giving me that term. They said that term to me at one point, and it was so like not even close to my radar. Like, I had heard it before, but it was not even close to my radar that it was a situation where I didn't realize they had said that to me until months and months and months later, when I was thinking back on things and meditating on it and just letting the memories flood to me, because I was literally in a questioning stage, and I was looking for reasons to call myself crazy, to say, Eric, you just need to sit down, shut up, and stop acting a fool. But as I was doing that, all of these memories started to come up, and they actually mentioned it to me at one point. And then I turned around and was hanging out with a real good friend of mine, and we were talking about how we had this really deep connection, and twin flame just blurted out of my mouth. And I was like, what? Why did I say that? I have never referred to anybody in my life as a twin flame. And then it was the twin flame situation that pushed me into even being a card reader. And some people around me probably are turning around and saying, oh, he probably just started doing that so he could prove he was not crazy. That was not even anywhere close to my radar. I was just following the guidance that I had been given. And it turned out to be this big old thing. And now it's kind of like, oh God, I wish this part of me is kind of like, can I just like take all of that back somehow? But no, I can't. It's because it's an integral part of the journey. It's an integral part of the awakening, not only of yourself, but of the people around you, the whole planet, the whole system. But that's not to say that if you are a true flame or a twin flame and you're on this path, you're any better than anybody else, like Betsy said when we started.
Yeah, it's not even about being better. It's actually like, sometimes I feel like I'm worse than other people. Like, why do I even have to be? No, I'm just kidding. No, because I've gotten to that place of contentment and calm and peace about the whole situation. It's so much easier to be on the journey and not feel contention for it, because that's how it was before. It was like, I was so angry. I was so angry that I was a twin flame. I'm like, why did I choose this life for myself? Why would I do that?
Yeah.
Why would I do that?
I'm still a little bit like about it. Because it's not even like I've been asking for it, because I've been in a very strong vibration of needing to be detached and wanting to be detached, because it's like I feel like I want my life back, but that's been the point. I'm building my life back, and that's the point for you. You have to work on coming back to who you are, and that means peeling back the layers of all the conditioning that has been imposed upon you. And this is an express way to do that. It's really, really difficult. It's very, very painful, but it is extremely helpful. Like, I'm at a point now where it's like, okay, yeah, I still have a little bit of contention for it, but I'm incredibly grateful because I feel so much better about myself than I ever have in the past.
Yeah, and you'll get there. I know you'll get there.
Yeah.
And you know what's really funny is I got there before it showed up. The human showed up.
Well, good for you.
But you watched it happen. You saw how that all went down. Eric is like literally, if we replayed my life from October to December of last year, Eric could be like, oh yeah, I can see that. I
definitely saw it.
So what do we want to do? We want to do a quick reading?
Sure. Do you want to go first?
Since we're already like an hour in. Yeah, I can go. I guess I can do the divine feminine. Okay.
That's how you're right. Because last time I did the feminine, you did the masculine. So let's switch.
Yeah. Life is like a movie. I love when Erica comments. Hold on. Erica Hippie. The twin flame journey has been the most painful I've ever felt. I never felt my heart break in so many pieces, but I would not be where that's so true. And that's the thing though, is Erica, I felt that. I felt like I had to have a karmic. I had to be ready. But that's why I had to have the karmic, because that's the person that broke me.
Yeah.
But I needed to recognize why I was being broken.
Yep.
And a lot of people don't go through that. A lot of people don't, have to go through the karmic. A lot of people just have their twin. And that's why it's so confusing, I think. And even for readers, you know what? I was actually, when I did my first twin flame reading in like 3 months, I was chastised like by a couple of people saying, you're not a true reader. You're not a true healer. You're not a true twin flame because you didn't even know. And I'm like, oh, but that's, first of all, if you're going to like bash another person and you are quote unquote a light worker, pretty cool. Like that's cool. Yeah. That's fun. That's fun. That's cute.
Real cute. No, it's real cute.
That's cute. Yeah. Even Steven had a karmic twin. Oh, and we didn't even get into loving the karmics.
Oh, that's right. That was on your list.
Because you even, like, if your divine masculine or your divine feminine has a karmic right now, that's another thing you can't do is bash the karmic. Like, don't do it. Like, that's bad karma.
That's exactly why. That's one of the main reasons why I stopped looking into karmic situations, because it's like, look, number one, that has nothing to do with you, and you can't do anything about it anyway. And number two, that person is, whether they are a true twin or not, that person still has their own things that they need to heal and go through. So why not let them do that? They are a human being too. And it's your ego that's getting in the way, that's saying, oh, well, you're with my person and blah, 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 and you're making my life hell. Well, no, actually, you are in that situation. You're just not taking responsibility for the work that you yourself need to do. Because the twin flame journey to me is a journey towards unconditional love. And that's not just for yourself or for your twin. It's for everybody.
Right. Like, the whole point of this is to bring love back to humanity.
Exactly.
And to bring it back to the purest form of love. And like, you can't do that if you're going to have anger, bitterness, and rage inside of you for anybody.
It's just not
for anybody. That's why I keep telling people, I'm like, when I speak my truth, it is my truth and mine alone. If you don't align with me and you don't agree with me, it doesn't mean that you get to, I mean, you can bash me all you want. That doesn't hurt my feelings. I'm still going to love you through it because I've grown enough to do that. So you have to be big. You have to be an adult. Like, let's be culpable, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's be adults here. Let's be responsible for our own emotions and our own feelings. The karmic person of your twin flame did nothing to you. They are not doing any, like, they don't have a purpose in life to ruin your life, right?
And to be quite honest, that karmic is probably looking at you like you have 6 heads, like you're trying to take their person away from them.
Right, right, right. Like, that's all I have to say about that, right?
Right.
You have 6 heads. All right, let's look into always send love to the karmics. Always, and I'm gonna leave it at that. Always, always, always send love to the karmics. Send love to the masculine. Send love to the, I mean, just be love. That's all you got to do is be love. It's really not that hard. It's not that hard to be a loving person in the world. And we make it so hard these days because our ego gets involved and the programming gets involved.
Let it go. Let it go. Who asked for that? Natalie, that was for you, boo.
All right. Divine feminines. Let's see. Oh, there we go. All right. All major arcanas. So there is your divine or no, I'm sorry. This is teach. This is the Hierophant. In the traditional tarot, we have release, which is the death card in the traditional tarot. And we have control, which is the strength card in the traditional tarot. So I feel like there's a big release of the status quo that's happening here because the Hierophant often represents people of a higher power, or even releasing the idea that things have to look a certain way or looking. And that's going to bring you a lot of strength and a lot of self-mastery when it comes to your path, your soul purpose, the way that you're going to go. There's a lot of releasing that's being done right now. This, I think it's really funny. It's really interesting that we have just seeing the teach and the release here. It feels like there's the divine feminine right now are coming into a time where they have to recognize they need to release old ways of doing things, old patterns of the way they've been doing things in order for them to get on that podium to teach. I feel like some of you are coming into a place where you want to spread your voice a little bit more, or like get out there a little bit more, say things a little bit more, and not in a status quo kind of way. Like it's totally, and I mean, this is asserting your independence with control. It's asserting like the direction that you want to start taking your life and your soul purpose, and really opening yourself up to that. That's pretty cool. That's a lot of self-mastery in those 3 cards. A lot of self-mastery. I like it.
Amen to that.
Yeah, there's like and that was even one of, I remember one of your morning coffees, was it yesterday, where we're starting to do new things?
Yeah, it's actually, yeah, it's been.
Oh, and the Divine Feminine reading on Sunday was
Yep.
about doing the Divine Feminine, starting new things.
New
So that really like aligns with that big time. I love it when confirmations happen like that.
Boop.
That means that we are all on the same page.
I love it.
Don't feel guilty. I want to tell the Divine Feminines, don't feel guilty as you're doing this, because you are going to be pulled away from people that are no longer aligning with you. And I feel like some people.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but I personally believe that just because you are being pulled away from someone, and I guess this is going to confuse people, but this is something that I really want to say. Just because you're being pulled away from someone doesn't necessarily mean that they're not your twin. It's just that there's this whole thing of free will that has a lot to do with our world and our lives. So that's just another way that makes it even much more confusing. But that is also why Spirit is saying it is not that important. What's more important is your health, your healing, and your growing, because we need you here as a whole being so that you can take care of your part of the mission. That's it. Okay.
Amen. 7 of Swords and the Moon and the 5 of Pentacles. I really feel like some of you are like in a very big way and probably close to this new moon in Aquarius that's happening on Monday. Yeah, Monday. There are so many new things that are going to be happening that will be pulling you away from other people. The 7 of Swords it represents the moon in Aquarius. When people have their moon sign in Aquarius, they are able to detach from situations in an emotional way. And I feel like that's what's happening. And I think this was even like, this has been a running theme for a very long time, where the Divine Feminine is recognizing that they can't sit in this place of guilt anymore. They can't sit in this place of not valuing themselves. The 5 of Pentacles is like a serious not being able to value yourself. It's a lack mentality. 9 of Swords, Knight of Swords, and there's the Death card again. So there's such a big release that's happening here. It will cause anxiety. And I feel like there are going to be some people that happens, the people that come at you. I mean, like, there are going to be people that don't like the fact that you aren't going along with what they want you to do anymore. I feel like there will like seriously be some contentious relationships. This is for the Divine Feminine in general. Yes, Anna. There will be some pushback. I feel like with the Knight of Swords, there's going to be some pushback, and it might cause you a little bit of anxiety. Let's clarify some of this, and then I missed something. They need to exercise. I missed something. Yeah. That's interesting. Okay, Ace of Swords on the 7 of Swords. So, yeah, this is a really big cutting of people, things, places. Pick an element. I don't care. People, situations, things. Don't feel guilty about doing it. This is really a very, like, when I pick up these 2 cards, they actually feel weighted. They feel heavy. So I feel like a lot of you are having a really hard time recognizing the new path that you want to go on, or the new places that you want to go to. And you feel almost guilty, or like, you know, the what ifs start popping up. Like, what if I lose this person? What if this situation goes away? What if I'm not going the right direction? There's a whole bunch of things that you are like doing the what ifs about. Whoa. All right. But on the Moon card, you have to trust your intuition, because your soul is being pulled to you. So the Moon is all about intuition, right? We have the 8 of Cups, we have the 6 of Cups, and we have the High Priestess. And the reason why I'm kind of going a little bit slower is because it's actually resonating with me. There are some things that are resonating like hardcore, and I'm like, oh man, like now I really have to. And I try not to project in my readings at all. Like, I totally do like even keel, don't project like emotions in my readings whatsoever, or what I'm going through. And it like legit is staring me in the face saying, all right, B. So you have to, you're being pulled by your soul to go in a new direction. You're being pulled by your soul to go on this journey of self-discovery. And you have to listen to your intuition. You have to listen to your gut instinct on the direction that you need to go in right now. And you have to release the fear of feeling guilty about having to leave things because, and I always tell people this, like, even when you go on this journey of self-discovery with the 8 of Cups, right? Those cups are still going to be there when you get back. They might be full of something else, but it's going to be something better. But they're still going to be there. In this deck, those cups are not tipped over. Some decks, they're tipped over and broken, but in this deck, they're not. So right now, you're sitting, like, you beat yourself up. You say, I can't do it. I'm not able to do it. There are things that I want to do, but I'm not feeling it. This, and this, right? I hate it when spirit does that to me. Bam, the Magician. But you can do it. But you are good enough. You don't. I see you laughing over there, Eric. He has his mute button on purpose right now. So the Magician on the 5 of Pentacles, you can do it. You can make your own way. You don't have to sit in a place of lack. You don't have to sit in a place of lack mentality. That Magician is saying that the 5 of Pentacles is really an illusion. What is the right direction? You have to ask yourself that. I can't tell you what, wherever your soul is pulling you to go, wherever your heart and your soul is pulling you to go, that's the right direction. I can't be the one that tells you that. I mean, like, when it comes down to it, like, we could have a reading and you could ask me, I'm supposed to go this direction or this direction, pick one, right? And then we could sit down and do that. But, like, I mean, I can't just, the only way I can tell you is if you're following your soul purpose, you literally have doors opening up. If you feel like you've been banging your head up against a brick wall over and over and over again, you probably need to start going a different direction or try something else or open up another door or take a leap of faith and do something different. That's the only way you're going to know. Let's see, 9 of Swords. This is extremely anxiety ridden, but it doesn't have to be. See, I feel like some of you actually have to, like, change locations. I feel like with the 8 of Cups, I feel like with the 6 of Swords, I feel like there's this whole location thing, like, and that's the anxiety of you having to, like, get up and go in a new way, go in a different direction. And people aren't going to like that idea. Feels like people aren't going to like that idea. But when it comes down to it, they're only watching the way that it's happening and the way that it's playing in the 3D. See, even if people don't like the idea, look at this new beginning that you get. It doesn't have to be scary, but sometimes it is. The Ace of Pentacles on the Knight of Swords. Some of this is, or this is for some of you, it's like going after the gold, going after what you want, going after, like, the universe is presenting you with an opportunity that's going to bring you a lot of stability, and you're just going to rush right forward and go into it regardless of the anxiety that you're feeling, right? It's going to ease your mind the more you go in that direction. But some of you, it's like you're trying to go for the gold and other people are trying to block it from happening for you. And you have to be strong enough to say, but this is my path. And this is the way that I feel like I'm supposed to go. And this is the direction that I'm supposed to go in. And it can't be your purpose. It's my purpose. It's my life. I feel like some of you are really having to stand up for your own quality of life. Thank you, Archangel. Yeah, 6 of Pentacles. Where are you placing your energies? On the Death card, there's the 6 of Pentacles. Where are you placing your energies? Are you giving it to people, places, and things that are helping you grow and helping you live in your purpose, live the soul mission that you were born for, literally born for? Like, I didn't make up the fact that I was a healer. that actually came very natural to me when I went through my awakening process. Like, there were times within the journey where I was like, I don't even know if I want to do this, but there's no way that I could go back. Do you know how miserable I would be in a 3D life knowing what I know now? Yeah, that's not going to happen. That's like impossible. So you have to remember that the releasing, the ending of things is within the truth of where you're supposed to be and what you're supposed to be doing. And even if you have to end some things, you're still opening up a path to a lot of new stuff. The bottom of the deck, you have the Fool. Oh, look at that. The 3 of Pentacles and the 2 of Cups and the Hanged Man. I think a lot of people are standing still for the fear of getting hurt, and the 3 of Swords. I think a lot of feminines are still, they're like frozen in fear because they don't want to get hurt again. And I want to say that this right here is also an illusion, being in the Hanged Man state, because if you look at it differently, if you look at this differently, this is about heart chakra activations. This is about the healing moments in your life. It's not about being frozen and stuck. It's about basically getting everything you want, but you have to take a chance. And you have to build on connections, and it's going to lead you to that 2 of Cups connection that you're supposed to be in. Yes, as Eric would say, yes. All right, I'm done.
Yes, honey.
Man, that was some truth. That was some truth be told out on my table. All right, I'll shut up now. It's Eric's turn.
All right. Well,
listen up.
I've been sitting here trying to figure out how I want to do this, because they're saying it already. The Divine Masculine Collective on an energetic level wants to speak for themselves. And I was sitting here having a mini debate about it, because I was like, well, we have individuals within the Divine Masculine Collective, i.e. like Steve and Libby and all that. But Steven, I really feel like you're very much more in tune with your feminine energies and like balancing out the masculine and the feminine. So, okay, that's cool. But for those of you that do resonate more with the masculine side of things, you are going to be able to get some guidance. But I just feel this urge to pull cards and allow the masculine energies to speak. Okay, so the first card. Wow, the first card that flipped over is the 8 of Cups. And I am using the deck that I use for the Divine Masculine Collective when I do my mirror readings. And it's funny because as I was sitting here connecting with the masculine energy while Betsy was doing the feminine energies, the first thing the Divine Masculine said he wanted to say was, you have to let me go. And this first card that came out is what? The 8 of Cups. If that means you have to, he's saying this right now. If that means, oh, I'm sorry, he or she. If that means you have to walk away from me, then walk away from me. Because honestly, what the message that came through with you have to let me go was, I really can't honestly do my work, do the work that I need to do if you are, wow, I don't want to say that. If you are constantly trying to help. And we understand that you want to help, but you can't. Because feminine, you didn't have my help. You had to do this on your own. And you surmounted it. It took some time, but you did it. And now I have to do this on my own, says the Divine Masculine. So if you need to walk away from me, walk away from me. Okay, let's see what else. Let's see what else here. Ooh, the 10 of Cups in reverse. All right, so with the 8 of Cups and the 10 of Cups in reverse is saying here is, as far as many in the Divine Masculine's Collective are aware or are concerned, this is not the 10 of Cups that you think it is, right? We all understand that you have this awareness of what this is. And to be quite honest, the Divine Masculine has this awareness as well. But they are not ready to not only accept it, but even really look at it. They have so much that you have, Divine Masculine, you have so much that you need to deal with on your plate that is keeping you from really seeing this for what it truly is. But that's okay. That's not a bad thing. It's all part of the situation. Now, going back to advice for the Divine Masculine Collective, you have to start looking at what is not really the 10 of Cups for you. Because there's quite a few situations around you. And this is something that I've been channeling for a while. And actually, this is one of the reasons why I kind of have been hesitant to continue doing twin flame readings, because they've all been pretty much the same. The divine feminine energies are all this positive, kind of positive stuff. The divine masculine energies get a lot of the same cards. And I can't tell, is like, what does that mean? Is this, what does this mean? But it just means that the divine masculine, and this is what Spirit is saying, the divine masculine energies are still very much in this three-dimensional state, in this three-dimensional understanding of what things are and how things are supposed to be and what things are supposed to look like. And they are in the process. You are, divine masculine, you are in the process of breaking free from this. It's going to take some time, and it's going to take
Oh, Eric froze.
some effort, okay? Oh no, I froze.
No, you're good now.
Okay, could you at least still hear me, or did the frame just freeze?
The frame, no, I couldn't hear you either. It keeps freezing. I don't know if I don't think it's my internet.
No, it's probably not you. But you know what? That's okay. We're gonna continue. But what I was saying is, divine masculine, you need to be looking at, there are things that you have to be walking away from too. Just like the divine feminine needs to walk away from things, you've got to walk away from things, but you have to look at what really isn't that true embodiment of 10 of Cups for you, because the divine masculine energies are still working through, that realization, okay? And underneath the deck is the 9 of Swords. I was guided to look at the 9 of Swords. Look underneath the deck, it's the 9 of Swords. There is a lot of anxiety around that. And that's mirroring already, because the divine feminine, you got the 9 of Swords also. There's a lot of anxiety around it. And yes, it's hard. It's hard to walk away from something, especially when you've built, I just want to say, my email is saying that there's 441 emails in my inbox right now. 144, 441, all that good stuff. Okay, anyway, it's hard to walk away from these things, especially when you have spent so much time, effort, and energy building at them, because you were led to believe it's what was right. But and now I'm seeing 717 because it's 717. Good Lord. Me personally, I've come to an understanding that there is no such thing as right or wrong. There is only experience and perception. And it is what you do with the knowledge acquired from that experience and your perception that makes all the difference. All right. Whew. Okay. Moving forward for the divine masculine. What else do we have here? What else, Spirit? More mirroring, death, change, transformation. And you guys have really, divine masculine, you've been going through this a lot. You've been going through this. Oh, wow. Good Lord, Spirit. Okay, so we have underneath the deck now, we have the devil, excuse me. And this is super bright. And we have the 10 of Wands with the King of Cups. Okay. The 10 of Wands is talking about all these burdens. You see here, you have the 10 of Cups in reverse, and you have the 10 of Wands upright. All right. So there are a hell of a lot of burdens around you. What you think, divine masculine, what you think is truly the 10 of Cups is an illusion, is false. Why? Because if your heart's not in it, if you're not happy, truly, if you were to sit with yourself right now and say, am I truly happy with this? Chances are you might not be. Or chances are you are carrying a bunch of responsibilities or burdens that are not yours to carry to begin with. Okay? And the worst part about this is, and this is why we have to stop all of this masculine bashing and man bashing, because you're still coming from a place of an open heart to a certain extent. Now, you're not fully allowed to have your heart open by societal standards, because masculine energies don't feel. We're not emotional. no, what is that? But that's false and that's twisted, okay? And that is one of the burdens that you have been. You don't have to carry this. I'm going to correct myself. You don't have to carry this. You have been carrying this, okay? And this is the transformation that's happening for you right now, which is allowing you to create the circumstances that turn this 10 of Cups around and brings you that ultimate fulfillment. But you're going to have to walk away from some things. All right. And the one thing Spirit is asking me to point out to you guys right now is that me being on the feminine side of things, I always have been, but me being on the feminine side of things is not me saying this because I want you to walk away so that you'll come forward and no, I don't want you to walk away from these things so that you can be with your feminine. I want you to walk away from these things, and Spirit is bringing this message forward because you will be happier. You will have the chance to be happier, to allow yourself to grow and to flourish, and to bring forward the circumstances that will turn this 10 of Cups around and make it upright instead of reversed. Because right now, this ultimate fulfillment is blocked. And that is something that a lot of the feminine collective need to come to terms with. This is not about being with your twin flame. This is about being a truer version of who you are and creating your experience from that space. That is what this is about. That is what we are here as twin flames to teach other people, to create your form of happiness. Okay? Wow. What else do we have here? Ooh, the 5 of Swords. I already feel the resistance. I feel it. It's like, with the Hanged Man. Okay. Now, the Hanged Man, what I was saying is that I already feel the resistance coming from many in the masculine collective. It's like you're saying, oh, with this 5 of Swords here, you have no idea what you're talking about. Oh, I don't. So you think that just because I'm on the feminine side of things, I haven't experienced these similar situations. I mean, we're all human beings, right? We all experience the same things, just in different ways. And that right there is what is keeping you hung up, the Hanged Man, with the 5 of Swords. You have to understand that we all go through the same things, and we just experience them differently, but they teach us the same lessons, okay? And what's keeping you in this Hanged Man energy, in this stuck and stagnancy with this 10 of Cups in reverse, is the fact that instead of listening to help yourself expand your perspective, there's immediate combat. Immediate, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what it's like. This, that, and the third. It's like, first of all, we're not trying to tell you what it's like. We're trying to give you an understanding of how you can heal and how you can grow. We're trying to show you the things that you already know. But until you reach that enlightenment, until you reach that awareness, until you can stop for a second and look back and say, oh, wow, I am going through that. That is part of my, and I'm not saying that it has to be like that for everybody, because everybody's situation is different. We're all on different paths all in different parts of the journey. Okay. And if you're not like MK is saying, I'm not fighting. No, I'm pretty sure you're not fighting. But if you're not fighting, you've come to this awareness already. So there are some out there that are still fighting. And the reason why some of you are out there still doing this fighting is because you haven't quite allowed yourself. You haven't allowed yourself to see the truth in the situation. 4 of Swords. The 4 of Swords with the Hanged Man. The 4 of Swords is like the minor arcana version of the Hanged Man. David, I kind of agree with you. David is saying he feels like the divine masculines are kind of in a trap. The more you fight it, the more you get stuck. But that's why you have to stop fighting. The thing about the Hanged Man is almost like being in a straitjacket or being in a Chinese finger trap. The more you fight it, the more you struggle against it, the tighter it gets. What you need to do instead is just stop fighting. Go still. And eventually, and you have to be still for some time because you have to let situations, yes, Kara, quicksand. You have to let the situation just relax around you. And then you can just slip out. Just slip out. Okay? Four of Swords. Let's see what else we've got for you, Divine Masculine. No. The Three of Swords. Yeah, it is heartbreaking. There is going to be heartbreak. You're going to have to, but you have to feel this pain to feel this joy. The Fool. You have to. That is the only way. And I've been saying that for quite a while now. The only way that you can heal something is to be aware of it and to experience it. That's the only way. The only way. And looky here. Eight of Wands is right underneath the deck. I mean, when you really put your foot down, is what Spirit said, and experience this and feel this stuff, I mean, it'll move so much quicker than you think. It's going to hurt. Yes, you got to rip that Band-Aid off. You got to rip up the Band-Aid off. But once you do that, I mean, it's almost as if you have a clear trajectory to go from. One more pull for the Divine Masculine Collective. That's enough. Oh! Oh! Oh. Okay. Well, you have the Four of Cups underneath the deck. But the Devil came out again. But this time it's reversed. There you go. Letting go of the toxicity. Yes, letting go of the toxicity. The World and the Ten of Pentacles. That's your closing message, Divine Masculine. It's time to put this stuff to rest. Because what the Ten of Pentacles is saying is you've invested the time, you've invested the effort, you've been diligent, you've been valiant, you have said, you stuck it out, you said, no, this is what I got to do. No, this is what I got to do. I'm already in this. This is the right thing to do, blah, 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 blah. But it's not making you happy. Ten of Cups in reverse. It's not making you happy. So it's time to put it to a rest. Ten of Pentacles and the World. Stop fighting so hard. Release the toxicity. Release the codependency. And again, this has nothing to do with your Divine Feminine. Absolutely nothing to do with your Divine Feminine. Don't even think about that. Think about what you've been missing out on for yourself. What are the things that you've been wanting to do? What are the ways that you've been wanting to express yourself? What are the things that you have been having to stuff down with this Devil and the Five of Swords energy?
Preach. Preach.
There you have it. I'm going to step off.
I really like to get into that because, and I want to say that it's not like the Ten of Cups in reverse and the holding on to the toxicity may not even have to be a karmic relationship that they're in. It's the codependency that they put themselves in life where they think that they have to be a certain way, or they have to be the provider, or they have to like live up to a certain status symbol or live up to a certain part. It's not even about being in another karmic relationship for a lot of Divine Masculines. A lot of Divine Masculines have kept themselves in situations because they think they have to be bigger in some way.
Divine Masculine, you need to learn what it's like to be free. You need to experience that. So for many of the Divine
Poor Eric keeps on getting stuck. You're frozen,
Feminines
Eric.
out there.
Frozen in time.
Can you hear me?
I can now.
Okay. For those divine feminines out there that feel like you're resonating with this, or your divine masculine
Aww.
with this. Hello. Hello.
it's like in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Don't expect the divine. Damn it. The divine masculine needs time to be free. The divine masculine collective need time to be on their own and do what it is they want to do for their lives. Sure, okay, you could say it this way. They need time to go back into that bachelor energy. But that's not really what it means. They need to experience what life is from their point of view without the interjection of someone else. Am I frozen again?
No, I was laughing at something that Erica Hippie was saying. Can you hear me now? The Verizon commercial?
Can you hear me now? Good.
It made me giggle.
And as soon as I said that, that's exactly what I thought.
No, but you're right on about the divine masculine. Say what you were going to say about like not just being in the single mode, but in what were you saying about that?
It's not about, I mean, technically you can say they need to go back into that bachelor phase, but it's not about being a bachelor in the common way that we know it. It's about being free on your own, independent, and doing what it is you want to do because it's what you want. Not because someone else is out here saying, this is what you need to do, this is how you need to act, and this is what you need to go after or manifest. Or
maybe that it's not even someone else that's saying that. It's the program in his head that he thinks that that's what he has to be doing.
That's exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
Exactly what I mean.
There's like that little voice inside the divine masculine's head saying, I got to be this certain way. I have to be this certain way. Things aren't going to be right until I'm this certain way.
It's like trading the voice of the toxic and twisted ego for the voice of the aligned divine child within.
Mm-hmm. When you know and that's the thing is like you'll know when you're the divine masculine will know when he's finally on his. I love that Starbraid. Go forth, hero. That's awesome. You'll know when the divine masculine is finally like aligning with his soul purpose because things will start to open up in crazy. I mean, like I know that's how it happened with me for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, great talk.
Sorry guys, I
turned a lot of information.
I'm sorry if I was like screaming at you, but I was getting all like.
You're fine.
I just turned my mic down.
You're fine. Poor Eric and his stupid Wi-Fi. I thought they fixed that. Poor guy.
Yeah, no, they didn't. I thought they fixed it too. Am I again?
You're in and out. I think it's like Spirit's way of saying shut up.
Yeah, probably.
Like both of us, like we need to just shut it down.
One more card came out though.
What's up?
Justice.
There you go. Karmic balance.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what we were talking about. All right, guys. So I guess that's it.
All right. Thanks for joining us, everyone. And if you want a reading from either Eric or myself, you can check the description box below my video, or you can email me and I'll give you Eric's information. Because all of his information is in the description boxes of his videos.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, how do you do that?
A website yet, guys. I'll get there eventually, but you know, the struggle is real.
Yeah, we're working on we're working on getting a website for Eric. It's a team effort.
David, DM or DF, what do Eric and Betsy resonate? I'm gonna be honest with you right now. I don't even know which one I resonate with more anymore. I a lot of the time when I approach life, I approach life from a feminine point of view because that's kind of how I grew up identifying with, but at this side. So I don't know. What do you, Betsy?
I actually think that you still resonate with the divine feminine. I just think that when you get angry, that's the divine masculine coming out. within you where you get like super aggro about life. I'll see that.
Loud and aggressive and jovial and like and fired up. That's the masculine in me. But my base,
Oh, you keep on freezing, buddy. Poor Eric. I resonate more with the divine
default is feminine.
Yeah, by default, I resonate with the divine feminine for sure.
Same.
And I always have, but I've also been very strong in my convictions. Like even when I'm like much stronger now than I used to be. So Eric's Wi-Fi is really a bunch of elves up on the roof holding up clothes hangers.
Oh my God.
I just got that. All right, everyone. Have a good night. Have
fun.
Good night,
everybody.
Be good. We'll do this again next month. Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, thumbs up. Do a thumbs up for the video. And if you're rewatching this, we apologize for all of the mishaps and technology issues. And I hope it's not that annoying.
Sorry, guys. Oh, also, it's raining here. There's like a storm happening. So that's probably why.
Oh,
yeah.
Makes sense.
Makes
all
sense.
Right. Bye.
Love you guys.